Hey everybody, it's Tafony here, and today I am going to be rambling about the Schlappi Engineering Angle Grinder. Quick first disclaimer before I get started. I was once again generously lent the angle grinder by our Euro pal Marius, who was kind enough to lend it to me. I do own the Schlappi 100 Grit. The 100 Grit is a distortion filter VCA, and the angle grinder is some sort of crazy mix of an oscillator, but also a filter, but also a wave shaper, but also pure chaos, and I don't think I could describe it accurately, so instead, this is what it sounds like. Okay, so the angle grinder. Reading from the manual for a lot of this video today because I am not very familiar with this one and I'm just racking it up for the first time. So, the angle grinder is a quadrature sine wave oscillator filter and wave shaping effect. The spin section is a quadrature sine wave oscillator. The grind section compares each phase against input signal, then subtracts the result from the input signal. If the spin section is either dampened enough or enough signal is fed into it from the grind section, then it will stop oscillating and become a state variable filter of sorts. What does that mean? Well, let's find out. So, let's go through the panel. First are the grind sliders. So it mixes the amount of signal to the grind from the associated spin output. It's a feedback playground, they're describing it as here. So there is in, right here, it says insert audio or CV here. Saw, sine, or triangle wave is best. Basically, when you get into wavefolding, you want to start with a basic wave shape and fold it. You don't want to send it like a super saw and then fold that because it just becomes inaudible. It doesn't get like extra messy. I mean, maybe it does here, but usually when I think like bifold or something, it'll do that. It'll just fold it out of existence, fold it out of audio territory. Out is the output from the grind section, and inject sends straight to spin. So if I put it in here, it'll go straight through the spin section and bypass the grind section, but if we put it in here, it'll go through both. There is volt per octave control if you want to play it like a synthesizer. I'm a little unclear on like which, there's some things on here are like self-oscillating filter, and some things I understand there is a proper oscillator in there, though it's not just like a filter resonated to oblivion, right? Unless I'm wrong. Let's keep going though before I derail myself. Volt per octave input, control over the spin section. There's frequency modulation too, which is very cool. There's two inputs for that, and then there is CV control over each slider, which is also really cool. I will not be demoing any of that today, I don't think, but yeah, we'll probably just stick to manually mangling them, just for simplicity's sake. Then there's spin. This is your coarse tuning control, but also when you're in filter mode, it is like the cutoff, or the pitch of that filter, you should say. Range switch, so you can put it into LFO mode, I believe. Now, it might have some alternate effect in an alternate mode, but I believe that you could use this as some crazy LFO if you wanted to. Grind. Okay, so there is sort of like mode switching potentiometers here. So there's grind / spin. So feeds the output of the grind into spin. So it says filter / os. So what I believe this does is determines whether you want to use it more as an oscillator or more as a filter. So if you crank it either way, that means it will be strictly an oscillator or strictly a filter. Now, I think there's all these different combinations in between that make it really cool, but we're going to find out. There's fine control over the tuning here, and then there's a dampening here, so it counteracts the oscillators. Then there's a CV attenuator for the FM1 input, and I think it says linear FM CV input, grind out is normalized to this input, make sure it is down for volt per octave tracking. So then you have your spin outputs as labeled by the inverted screen print here. There's 4 phase-related outputs. Now, there is a little bit of labeling distinction to make here. So this is your first wave, your second, your third, and your fourth. But if you're in filter mode, first is low pass, second is band pass, third is high pass, and fourth is inverted band pass. So some distinction to make there. And yeah, what we're going to do, because I am a writing genius and I know what I'm doing, I'm going to go through the manual and use their suggested patches to start with. So yeah, let's do it. So the first patch they call oscillate. So what we're going to do is take our wave shapers all the way down. We are going to take our spin up here around. We are not going to use LFO mode. We are going to use high mode, fine tuning in the middle. Switch this over to oscillator. Switch this side over to frequency modulation all the way down. And it says, no input. Listen to any of the spin outputs for pure sine waves, 90 degrees out of phase with each other. Listen to the grind out. Turn up the in control. So let's start there before we do anything else. So, okay, there we go. So we got sine wave 1. Sine wave 2. Moving through 90-degree inversions. Sounds like sine waves to me. Or LFOs. Well, you can't hear those. Oh, you can at the top, but yeah, those are sine waves for sure. What does it suggest with this patch? It says, listen to the grind out, turn up the in control. Okay, let's try grind out. Start with all grind sliders down for sine output. Experiment with the grind sliders and grind CV to add harmonics. So now I want to make sure this is feeding this one, so... Oh, it's not. Okay. So yeah, we want our grind output then. Pure sine wave. Just lots of wave shaping here. And I don't know why this moves. Maybe it'll explain in another patch. Okay, it's cool too. This is like a blend almost, right? So I want lots of my wave shaping. Or do I want a little? Because this will get really loud. And dampen it. Yeah, cool. Now, I said I wasn't going to demo this part, but I think we should follow the guide. So let's send this an LFO. The first one. But yeah, think about how you could really have some moving, mangling wave shapes by doing that way. Very cool. So, control of volt per octave. Well, let's try and sequence that first. Okay, so now I'm sending it from the Oxy, and we're gonna... Yeah, I mean, I wasn't really thinking of this as an oscillator, but that sounds great. I wish there was CV control over this input. Okay, so... okay, second one is the grind. So knob positions, we are going to bring this up there. We are going to hear a little bit something here. Take out my full per octave. So they suggest crank the first one, crank the in. Grind is going to be in that. Detune that a hair. And it says input triangle. Okay, so we'll take a triangle wave. You can definitely fold that. Yeah, so that's the grind. Man, the oscillators on here are actually really good. I don't know if I really even understood what this was. Yeah. But, yeah. That was the grind section. Now we're going to do the filter section. So start with the grind. Let's do a little bit. Their suggested patch was like this. So bring our pitch over there, fine tune up to noon, bring this over to the filter side, and then the dampening. Oh. Their suggested patch for the filter doesn't actually follow that, which is interesting. So let's send it our triangle wave again. Start with the above grind patch. Listen to the 0 degree output. Oh, okay. That'll be this one. Okay. Low pass filter. Band pass. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, that's our high pass. And then our inverse band. Cool. So the grind sliders are now voltage-controlled nonlinear feedback paths. Experiment with all controls. I wish I had some envelopes on board. Maybe let's frequency modulate that. Yeah. And the drum machine into that for fun. This is how I expected to use it, but I had some misconceptions about this thing for sure. Yeah, okay. So, like a simple distortion effect. Wavefold it. Yeah, okay, so it's fed, right? Yeah, okay, so this is more what I'm expecting, like under grit, yeah. This thing is nuts. Alright, that's enough of that noise. Hey, I'm Tafony. This is the angle grinder. Thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you soon, and take care.